Hey, thank you everyone for being here. I'm excited to do this training. I've done it before, so I apologize to you if you've seen it before, but it is in high demand. This is one of the things that I get asked time and time again, which is how do we build a business even in a down market? Okay. And by the way, I personally use Robert. He's done a handful of my loans. Just down to earth, not a big ego, fantastic individual. Just want you to know that he is amazing when it comes to treating your clients right, getting the deal done, doing everything he can to help people out. So, Chris, I think my computer shut off. I'm going to share it again, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. We all have different backgrounds, right? We all have been in the business for a different amount of time. I'm curious of those in the room who's been in the business for over 20 years. Okay, a couple, 15.
Oh, go down.
10, going down, just trying to get a sense. 5, and under 2. Okay. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Literally. You're brand new. I'm brand new. Sweet. And this is for you. So I've been in the business for over 20 years. This is the program that I credit to my success as an early agent. Okay. And I'll just be honest, I stole it and rebranded it. Just to avoid copyright issues. So the original program was called 100 Days to Greatness by Brian Buffini. Some of you may know Brian Buffini or heard that name before. There are many different real estate coaches, Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Brian Buffini is up there as one of the top real estate coaches. The way I rebranded it is I ended up calling it 99 days to excellence rather than 100 days to greatness. So now I went as far as to buy the domain 99days-to-excellence.com. So if you ever want to reference this PowerPoint, that's how you do it. Okay. We'll go ahead and jump in. And forgive me, I did create this a while back, but I did go in and update it. Some of the slides and pictures are a little cheesy, so bear with me. Let's see, slideshow. Okay, here we go. Now, let me give some context. I remember going to college, don't hold this against me, I went to the University of Utah, did my elective courses in real estate, and was really excited to get into real estate back in 2004, okay? And I grew up in a family where my father was a commercial insurance agent. And I remember having a heart-to-heart with him, asking him whether or not I should follow in his footsteps and get into insurance. He is probably one of the main reasons why I got into real estate. He said, man, if I could do it all over again, I'd get into real estate. So I don't regret the decision. There was something I learned at that time which correlates to this training today. And that is, no matter what business you're in, if you're self-employed like we are in the real estate world, the key is to build a book of business, okay? I do think there are plenty of successful real estate agents who, for lack of a better phrase, they burn the candle on both ends. They're really good, they're charismatic, they will get clients, but they won't retain those clients. And the one thing about the insurance industry I was always kind of jealous of, still am, is this concept of a book of business, right? That you get renewals. I have a really good friend who works for State Farm. He's been with State Farm for a few decades. And, I think the majority of his business came within the first 5 years of him just hitting the pavement and getting clients. And now he just services that business. I believe that concept can work in real estate. And I think it's an important concept to really try to attain. So 99 Days to Excellence, How to Build a Better Real Estate Business in 99 Days by Working by Referral. Now, the original 100 Days to Greatness that Brian Buffini had is he had a guarantee. He basically said, if you follow this program, you will have 3 scheduled closings within 100 days. Has that shifted? Would I make that same guarantee? I would say likely. Maybe some market trends and market forces, the economics of it making things a little bit more difficult. But I do feel like that if you can build a reservoir of potential clients, then one day that, the flood doors of the dam will open and there will be plenty of business. And so whether or not you get the business in 99 days or 900 days, I think the concept is the same, and that is how do we build this book of business, okay? Okay, so starting with your sphere of influence. Some of this may be new to you. I'm sure we've all heard this. Your sphere of influence, or commonly referred to as your SOI, is a list of people who are family, friends, as well as acquaintances, most likely to refer business to you, okay? Now, building a book of business, this is the technical side. So I thought, let's get the boring technical stuff out of the way first. We're going to start with what I call database marketing. Okay? The concept of database marketing is very simple. You basically have some database where you can put in contact information. Okay? If you don't want to pay for one, I would suggest using Microsoft Online or Google Apps, Google Drive, where you can use a Google spreadsheet and just put in your contacts. So I'm going to illustrate that real fast. It's kind of fun to have the tools that we have. ChatGPT, I just asked it to create a fake list of clients, and boom, it whipped one up for me in literally like a minute. I was impressed. So these are fake individuals. But this is how I would start out with your database, okay? Now, I started this training asking who was in the business a long time. Can I ask if you're willing to share? Do you do any form of database marketing? And if you don't, now's the time to start, in my opinion. I think you could, even being decades in the business.
So I mean, my database like this, I mean, using Excel files.
Can be an Excel file, or it can even be a more robust CRM, which we can get into. And I know a lot of agents do pay for their own website. I know a lot of you have Coraggio websites that has a built-in CRM, a client relations manager. Now, a lot of you may not. I mean, you guys may just have your contacts in your phone. I know a lot of agents who operate that way. They're like, I just have contacts in my phone and it just says client or potential client. And I'm not here to publicly shame you. I'm just wondering, has anybody found success in database marketing? Do you have a central location where you put your clients that you can reference?
I use a spreadsheet because that's what I started with 22 years ago. So I'm familiar with it. I know it. I know how to work it. And it's been good.
Awesome. Good.
I use Excel. Now I pay for it. It's like $90 a year or something like that. And the upgrade for all the package. But Excel is amazing. And if people are not, and this is Excel.
This is Excel.
Yeah, if not using Excel, it's so easy. And it migrates into, I use it for all my mailers. So I've been in it long enough that social media didn't exist. And so I still don't do social media.
Yeah.
But that's a choice. It doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
And I get annoyed by people that send me things through social media. So I figure.
You're not alone, by the way.
Okay.
There are other agents who.
But if I were starting again, I would.
Mm-hmm.
I would hire someone to do my social media. I would definitely do it. I mean, I got up to 500, 600 client base in my Excel files.
That's awesome.
It's shrinking gradually because people are dying. And I'm not adding as many people into it, but yeah, Excel has been great. And it also is good for everything else, all your financial,
Mhm.
all your bills, your payments, your receivables, everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's an amazing, if any of you guys, you're starting out, that's what you need to do right there.
I'm a fan of what I call YouTube University. There are plenty of trainings, so if you're like, oh gosh, Excel is over my head, you can jump on YouTube and learn just about all the basic functionality that you need. And really, for me, this is more a visual, but the benefit of starting out with a spreadsheet and creating your own SOI, your own directory, or like I like to call it, a database, is if you get to the point where you're like, well, gosh, now I've got this big spreadsheet, having a spreadsheet of 500 clients could be overwhelming. You may want to get to the point where you do upgrade to a more robust CRM system that starts to automate things for you, automate campaigns. And we'll get to that as well here in just a moment as well. Okay.
David,
Um,
if I could chime in, this is Morton. I started up with spreadsheets and now use Follow-Up Boss. It's a little bit expensive, but not too expensive. But it really helps making sure our leads do not fall in between the cracks and we forget about them. And then also, I really like the automation features of Follow-Up Boss. We can set them on a drip follow-up plan with emails and texts that are customized for the leads.
Love that. Follow up boss, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, sir.
One of many CRMs, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So, okay, let's talk about labeling your spreadsheet and where to start. And I'm glad that you're vulnerable enough. Tell me your name.
Joe Romero.
Joe.
Yes.
Joe, thanks for being vulnerable and sharing with us that you've just started in the business. Where do you start? The first place to start, in my opinion, is open up the spreadsheet and you basically create just a few columns: first name, last name, email, phone, address. Home address is important. We'll get to that here in just a moment. And then I have two columns at the very end, which is how do you know them, your relationship, and then qualifying that lead. So in fact, let me go back to that spreadsheet. I kind of jumped out of it too quickly. You'll notice that on the far right here, I've got relationship and qualification. Okay.
Well, one quick question. Will we receive this PowerPoint, the slide deck?
Yes, in fact, you may have missed the very beginning part. I went above and beyond and bought the domain name
Yes.
99daystoexcellence.com. You can even jump on your
It's there.
laptop right now.
Perfect.
You're welcome to take a look at it. Okay, so. Okay, now, you mentioned earlier, Tom, about the social media links. So I did throw that in here. You'll notice that what's in the PowerPoint presentation didn't have initially social media. This is up to you, because building your database and moving into getting commitments from your clients, that's the hard part. And that's what we're going to talk about next. But gathering information and getting all the information is hard. And people, especially in our day and age where privacy is a big deal, you'll have a lot of people who are resistant to wanting to give out their phone number, their home address. One of the best ways that you can find them and initiate a conversation is social media. So, and that's one reason why I put a social media handle here. ChatGPT decided to create a whole bunch of fake handles and for some reason put Instagram on every profile. But this could be Instagram, Facebook, X, Twitter, any social media handles where it will take you to their profile, okay? So let's go ahead and go back into the presentation here. And where do we gather our data from? Okay. Now, some of the information you probably already have from your closest friends and family members. That is where I would start with. Building your SOI, your sphere of influence, is I want to disagree with agents who say, I don't want to work with people I know. I usually say, well, you're in the wrong business then. Because this is the people business. And the people who are most likely to buy and sell property with you are the people who know you. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't add new clients to your database. And that's part of today's training. But where do you start? You start with the people you know. And it's likely you already have all their information. You probably already have a phone number, an email address, home address, so on and so forth. Okay? And we'll get into how do you gather that information if you don't know the person as well, okay? According to the New York Times, the average American knows approximately 600 people. Okay, so I've sat with agents before where they're like, I don't think I know more than 30. And we get into it and then they're rambling off 50, 60 people. I'm like, this is the statistics state that we know a lot more, okay? Some ideas, we already talked about friends and family, Facebook friends. Go beyond that. Think of professional services, okay? People you bump into the grocery store, convenience stores, hairstylists, who's your doctor, who's your dentist, attorneys, who do you go to church with, sports teams, book clubs, hobbies, pickleball. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, right? You know more people than you think you know, okay? What is the most important way to initially contact people in your database? This is where I'm probably a little more old school, and picking up the phone is a little bit harder to do. Now, where I am guilty, and probably where I'm a little bit more like the Gen Z generation, if a call comes in, just because of the number of phone calls that I get a day, if it's not in my caller ID, I don't answer it. I'm sure many of you are the same way, okay? Now, that's not common in our industry. Oftentimes, especially if we have an active listing, we want to answer those calls, right? They could be prospective buyers. We want to jump on those calls quickly, okay? So phone, people are becoming more resistant to answering the phone. That's okay. We're going to talk about the workarounds on that. So, okay, how to commit someone to be added to your SOI or your database, okay? And this is asking the right questions. Okay, now, I divulged up front that I stole this program from Brendan Buffini. This is more or less his question that he asks, but I've modified it a little bit to make it simpler, okay? This is the question that you want to ask, and if you can memorize it, then it will just flow off your tongue when you get to the point to try to commit somebody to add to your database, okay? If you are looking to buy or sell a home or had a friend or family member looking to do the same, do you have an agent you would refer them to? Okay, so we have a direct question, but we also have a soft ending, right? It's not, hey, will you buy a home with me now? Right? Very, very direct, very hard close. This is a very soft close. Do you have somebody you refer them to? Because the name of the game is once you land that client, going back to my insurance analogy, insurance agents get to renew that book of business annually, right? What are the statistics for people buying and selling homes? 3 to 5 years. So where are we hoping that future business comes from? It's going to come from the people who already work with us, right? Who had a great experience and who can hopefully refer business. So I love the way this ends. Do you have an agent you would refer them to, okay? Let's talk about the common responses, okay? If yes, here's my response. That's great. I'm so glad to hear that you have a professional you work with and can refer. Okay. Now I made a mistake once. I had a neighbor. His name was Mr. Gomez. You see that down the bottom left-hand corner. And I kind of jumped the gun. I was sending him my monthly newsletters. I mean, I had probably invested quite a bit of money in him and many other prospects before flushing those prospects out. When I finally got on the phone with him and asked him this question, he goes, "Oh, my sister's an agent. We bought my home with my sister. If we ever sell, we're gonna sell with her." Case closed. Like, he was happy. I didn't have to be forceful or be like, well, gosh, I think you should ditch your sister and work with me. It's his sister, right? That's okay. That is the type of person that once you get that response, remove them from your database, okay? Now I can see the wheels turning in your head. What if you get a lukewarm response? Well, my cousin's an agent. Okay. What would be some good follow-up questions? One would be, oh, well, if you were to buy or sell property, would you use them? I don't know. Okay, we'll get to that. Now let's talk about if no. If the answer is no, I can't really think of anyone. Then you say, I would love to be your agent when the time is right. And be the one you trust to refer to your friends and family. That's it, okay? But that's the second to last step to fully committing them, okay? Now I have to throw in a little joke. You guys may have heard this joke before. Individual gets pulled over by a police officer. Police officer says, excuse me, ma'am, do you have your real estate license? And she says, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, do you have your real estate license? And then she says, do you mean my driver's license? And he goes, no, not everyone's got one of those. So, meaning everyone's got a real estate license, right? More often than not, when I'm asking this question, I'm hoping for yes or no. But you know how often I would get, oh, well, gosh, I went to school with a friend he's got a license and it's like, oh, everyone has a real estate license, or so it feels, right? But not everyone is a full-time professional trying to build a book of business, right? So anyway, funny joke there. Now, here's the close, okay? Once you get that answer where the answer is no, or they basically, if they do come back and say, well, I know somebody, just say, oh, great. I don't mind asking them, is that who you would use? Just that direct. Now, if you feel like the conversation's going in a different direction, this is my close, okay? My close right here is, I research and come across useful info about the real estate market. I love to stay in touch with my clients and keep them informed about what's going on. Can I send you my monthly newsletter? Okay. Once again, a soft close. I'm not asking them, hey, will you buy property with me today? But you are asking to stay in touch with them. Now, if the response to this is you're getting resistance, I like to clear up doubts just by asking some follow-up questions, I just love staying in touch with people. Are you okay if I send you my newsletter? Oh, I don't know. I hate junk mail. Not a problem. I just love being able to have an opportunity to stay in touch with you. I keep it short. I keep it sweet. If you don't like emails, I can send you a newsletter in the mail. And if you keep sensing resistance, well, that may not be somebody you want to add to your database, right? Or if they reluctantly give their information, maybe you initially add them to your database, but with time, you're going to flush them out, okay? Sometimes people have to see your materials to appreciate them before they know that they want to work with you. So I think being met with resistance is okay. And I think it's okay to push through that resistance and just say, not a problem, I promise not to bother you. I just send out my newsletter once a month. All I'm asking is just to stay in touch, follow up from time to time, give you useful information. Is that okay? Yeah, that's fine. You get that type of response, perfect. I think that's the type of person you put into your database. But if they're resistant on all fronts, pretty clear picture that you probably don't want to add them to your database, okay? If they say yes, you have them committed, you're good to rock and roll, okay? Now let's talk about qualifying the database, okay? For those of you who've been in the business for a while, and you've got your A+ clients, these are your walking, talking billboards, okay? A clients are the ones who, and I've had them. I've had people who are like, oh my goodness, you've got to use Dave. He's awesome. Give him a call. Yeah, he'll help you buy a property. He'll help you sell a property. Ideally, you'd be converting everyone into A, but we know that's not how it works, right? And even some of the best transactions where you're like, oh my goodness, this person could be a gold mine for me and refer a lot of business. Sometimes they don't. And maybe they're just an introvert and they're just not going to talk to anybody. But you'll be surprised. I've had some of my database or individuals on my database who I'm just like, this person is the shyest person. And then like after 2 years, I get a phone call from like their brother. And they're like, hey, so-and-so referred me, you helped me buy a home. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I never thought they'd ever talk to anybody, you know? So A clients, those are the ones most likely to do business and refer business. B clients are most likely to refer, but they're not yet proven. And C clients are the ones most likely out the door and the ones that you probably want to delete, okay? A clients are the ones who commit to you. B are the limited action people, where maybe you're still meeting resistance even after sending a few newsletters and you're trying to engage them, okay? And then of course your C clients are non-responsive, or if they gave you a fake phone number, you knew they were trying to just get rid of you pretty quickly, okay? Linda, how am I doing?
You've got about 10 minutes.
Sweet, I think we'll be done by now, okay? Tangibles versus intangibles, okay? We live in a digital society. I'm gonna have you push for the tangibles, okay? Which means tangible items of value, okay? We'll get into that. Can't you just email it to me? Sending out a newsletter, ideally, my preference is to do the old-fashioned mail merge that you talked about. You're gonna be sending out something that they get to open. They go to their mailbox, they get it. Here they have a tangible item in their hands from you. It's a lot more meaningful than an email, okay? I have a financial planner, he sends me an email every month. Do I read it? No, I don't. Now, is he staying in touch with it? Yeah, hats off to him for staying in touch with it. Would it be more meaningful if I got a newsletter or a birthday card? Yes, yes, it would.
Is there a service that you use for direct mail,
Yes.
for flyers or, you know,
Yeah,
cards that you send out? Cause I struggle with that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So let's jump in. Okay, that's my next slide. Let's start here, okay? Consistency is the name of the game. There's been plenty of studies about why agents don't get to the next level. And part of that is they do a tremendous job, a great job at prospecting. But once they have once they have active business, they stop the prospecting, okay? This is where I think trying to automate or have what I call a religious hour every day, where you're committed to doing activities no matter what, will be the key to your ongoing success, okay? And by the way, I am flattered you're taking a picture once again, 99 Days to Excellence. You can go there anytime. Here's the daily activities. Let's talk about it real fast, okay? 5 personal phone calls, even if they don't answer, leave a voicemail. They will see it, right? Especially with voice transcription, okay? Hey, Susan, this is Dave from Realtypath, just giving you a call. Thanks for letting me send my newsletter to you. I just want to make sure that you got it. Just want to see how things going in life, you know, how are the kids playing soccer? Give me a call back when you get a minute.
Speaking of which, in your database, should you include some of those sorts of things? Because if you get a list and then you like, how do I, like where you met them,
Yes.
what you talked about?
Yes, yep. So this gets back to the benefit of probably upgrading to a more robust CRM, kind of like what Morton mentioned. What was it
Dave,
called, Morton?
Dave, can I butt in real quick and say a few things on this item?
Sure can, Josh, jump in.
All right. So when you're working with your clients, there's in a lot of the CRM systems, whether you're using Bullet Trails, KV Core, or Follow Up Boss, they're all going to have what are called tags or pools. And then you can group specific clients to audiences that would pertain to them. For example, if they're a mother, you can type in mother. They may also be someone who speaks Spanish. You can do that as another tag. Or they might live in a specific county where you might be doing events. So you can do those 3 things. And what happens is if you want to send out an email to everybody who's a mother on Mother's Day, for example, now you send it to only the people that would make sense. So then that way the men aren't like, well, why are you sending me a happy Mother's Day email when I'm not a mother? So when you keep track of what your clients like, not just, you know, how you met them, but what are some of their interests and where they belong to. Maybe they belong to some sort of association. Then you can send pertinent information that's going to create the increase of likelihood for them to read the emails that you're sending out because it's more relevant to what they're interested in.
I love that. Well, and honest, that I think the advantage to looking into a more robust CRM is automation, right? There's just so much our brains can remember. Even if you're committed to the daily, weekly, monthly activities, which you should be, we're going to go over these. The CRM will do the behind the scenes work. And smart people will know that some of it's automated, right? They're going to know that your digital newsletters are probably automated. But to your point, Josh, if you have a more robust CRM and these pools of people are now tagged, then newsletters can be customized to those pools of people. You know, so I really appreciate that insight. That's fantastic, Josh. Hey, Josh, which of all those systems do you recommend?
So I am actually using Bold Trails that's offered a discounted rate through Realtypath. This one is a more robust one. I know we also have pro agent websites, which gives you the basics. But if you're looking to have some of the social media automation, I also get a sign in list at my open houses that will go directly into my CRM. Whenever I do an open house, they just sign into my app, my iPad, and goes directly into it. And then I know where they came from. So that's what I'm using. It's called Bold Trails. It used to be called KB Core. They rebranded.
Cool.
Bold Trail?
Bold Trails. Yep. Okay, so you'll notice that these daily, monthly, weekly activities, this is your manual efforts that really can't be automated. Okay. So those 5 personal phone calls, that's a manual. You're picking up the phone, you're calling. 5 personal handwritten notes. Okay. Now, what I like to do is I like to tie the handwritten notes to the phone calls, even if they don't answer. So if they do answer, keep your phone calls short. People don't want to be on the phone really long, especially if you are their real estate agent. Keep it super, super short, but try to be as personable as possible, okay? But when you jump off the phone with them, send them a handwritten note. Thanks for today's call. So great to chat with you. Whatever you want to put in that handwritten note, but it can be super, short and sweet. Now they have a tangible that they get to open in addition to their monthly newsletter, okay? And then your weekly management, that is going into your database. And if you keep it super simple and free with a spreadsheet, you're just updating your database. And I do think, going back to your question, I do like the idea of in the far right-hand column, if you're just going to keep it free and use a spreadsheet, have a notes section, on such and such date, we talked about this,
Exactly, because I have people that call me, and they'll remember our last conversation, because they're calling me, and I don't remember what we talked about, but the fact that they bring it back up, I'm always like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
You actually do listen to me, or you do care about me. They're probably looking at their notes somewhere, but it makes a difference.
It does. It really does. Okay, preparing and mailing out your newsletter. So let's talk about, because there are services that can do this, and you can do it, okay? If you do it, it takes a little bit more time, okay? We've had different programs suggested today, Follow Up Boss, Bold Trails. There's this one at the very top, which is Brian Buffini's Referral Maker Pro, which I think is $150 a month. Bold Trails is cheaper, by the way, and Realtypath does get a discount for its agents. So I think it's only $59 a month if you use Bold Trails. What I do like about Brian Buffini is if you do pay his monthly subscription, he will send you the personal notes. They're blank. You have to fill them out. And he'll send you the newsletters, but the newsletters usually correspond to the holiday of the month. Okay, so if it's November, it's going to be Thanksgiving. If it's December, it's going to be Hanukkah and Christmas, so on and so forth. The brilliance behind that is all you're having to do is buy stamps, get your kids to fold them and put them in an envelope, put the stamps on. And by the way, I would not even print the labels. Like I would handwrite the address too. I know it sounds like a lot of work, but that religious hour, which I used to do every day from 9 till 10, those 5 notes would take me a good 35 to 40 minutes to write everything out. Okay? It's worth the time. Okay? Some of the other tools, if you are trying to print in bulk, I love GotPrint, gotprint.com. There's Vistaprint, so many different places you can go. I do like GotPrint because it will allow you to print in bulk for EDDM. If you guys have never heard of EDDM, it's every door direct mail, where every mail piece, I believe, is 20 cents, as opposed to whatever first class is. First class is, I guess, around 60 cents now, something like that. You are mailing to a geographic area. Okay, so there's some limitations there. We won't do a deep dive into EDDM. I've had some people ask about doing a class just on that. And that's brilliant, especially if you're wanting to farm an area, you're wanting to target a geography. EDDM is awesome. Okay. As you start to build, consider a team. Consider teaming up with other agents. The next part of this is getting a good personal assistant or transaction coordinator. I think the name of the game for building a business and scaling it is getting the right help. And automating your business as much as possible is great. The manual process, those daily activities, keep those sacred for you, okay? And then some other items, get a good inkjet printer. If you're gonna print your own newsletters and send them out, you're gonna need some supplies, okay? And all of these are business tax write-offs, right? Yeah.
You asked a question about mailers. Well, I've used personal marketing. It's a company for decades.
It's called personal marketing.
Personal marketing. It's a company, I don't know, but anyway. And they have multiple different products that are pre-done. You take pictures of you and your team. I work with my son a little bit. And it's right there. And then I send them out quarterly. It's about $200 for them to print them up, get them to me. I can send them, and I use Outlook with all my client base, so I can tell Outlook's cheap and it's free. And Outlook has, you can put all your client base in there. You sell a home, you put it in there when you sold them the home, how much, where the referral came from. So anytime you get them on the phone, you got Outlook right in front of you. And then you can print all your labels off that, or you can send that information, not all that information, the client's addresses and names to personal marketing. They'll print it, they'll put it onto the little brochures. And I can't tell you how many times I get people call me and say, I just made your cookies. I said, thank you. You have some great recipes. Well, thank you.
Yes.
It sounds goofy, but
Yeah. So I'm glad you mentioned that, because I did almost forget to talk about the, let's see. I had it on here somewhere, but I'm just gonna bring it up because I don't see it. It's items of value. So, okay, your A clients, these are the people who are printing money for you. They're the walking, talking billboards. These are the ones who it is worth to actually bring an item of value to them. It's knocking on the door. If they're not home, you leave it right on the doorstep with a little note that said, sorry, I missed you. Just wanted to bring this item of value, whatever it is. And you can keep the item of value really cheap, something $20 or less. And in your head, you may be thinking, oh gosh, this is a lot of cash outlay. It's not. You'd be surprised. Your database, if it does, hopefully it does grow to 500, 600 people. Your A clients may only be 10% of that whole list. And that 10% is what will generate business for you for years to come. Okay. It will pay dividends, I promise. Okay. Getting that look from Linda, timekeeper.
Back to you listing shout outs.
Okay, hold on, let me wrap up real fast. Discipline and desire to work, go kill it. That's the last part. Be committed to your religious hour. Find a time daily that you can do those manual processes. Everything else that you can't manually do, that you know you need help with, hire it out. Get a good CRM, automate, okay? And once again, back to the results, the guarantee of Brian Feeney's program, and I'll stand behind that guarantee, is if you jump on this, you'll have 3 closings lined up in the next 100 days, okay? I stand behind that. Back in the day, it was $500. Cost me
Real quick.
$500.
Real quick, Dave, if
Yeah.
anybody wants any information on bullet trails, I'm happy to go over some details with you. Just email me at josh@realtypath.com and I'll give you some details on that.